Hey guys. I just got done editing all the videos that you have just seen, all the videos from our trip. I kind of felt like I needed to explain a little bit of what happened. So Dean and Sherry, my in-laws, were here when we went to Cabo. They watched the kids for us, and then they stayed a whole extra week with us because Lexi was in the homecoming court and they wanted to be there for homecoming and all that stuff. So they stayed an extra week, and I had a urinary tract infection when I got home from Mexico. So I was in a lot of pain and just kind of sick that whole time. Not sick, but if you've ever had one, just not 100%. And 2 days before they left, my father-in-law kind of started feeling not so good. Had a little bit of a fever and just, kind of laid around for a day. He pulled it together for homecoming, but you could tell it was really hard for him to be there. He just didn't feel well. So as soon as they got home, they left on a Saturday, and as soon as they got home on Sunday, he preached his sermon, and he was in so much pain that they went to the emergency room. Well, they don't have insurance, so, you only go when you really, really feel like, okay, something's not right. So they went to the emergency room. She called us. We had just opened a new campus of our church, so we were all there, and I think it was probably we'd been talking all day. As soon as she called us to tell us she was going to the ER, and then it was like, okay, we're waiting. Okay, they got us in a room. Oh, at 9 o'clock, she said they think it's just a urinary tract infection, and then she said that they made the joke that, since I had one, he was like, wanted to have one too, not wanted to have one too, but oh haha, now you have one just because Mandy had one. She's like, it's a good thing she wasn't pregnant or you'd be pregnant, and we were just all kind of razzing him a little bit that he had the same thing that I did, whatever. And it was 9:30, and she's like, okay, I probably won't call you guys again unless something goes wrong or something's wrong, just because we'll be here and we'll talk to you guys in the morning. We're like, okay. Well, I think it was 11:30 midnight. She called again, and my whole spirit instantly just was in high alert, oh my gosh, whatever she's about to tell us, Lord, please be with us, as we hear it. And she proceeded to tell Brad that they thought it was colon cancer, that he was in so much pain it had to be more than just a UTI, so they thought maybe it was kidney stones. So they went to go check for the kidney stones, and they found a very large mass in his colon. They found a spot on his pancreas and a spot on his liver. And the doctor immediately told him it was colon cancer, and that's what she told us on the phone, and we were reeling. Immediately I thought, how would they know that so fast just from a CAT scan? How would they know that it's cancer, So I immediately was like, this is not what it is, because one, they haven't biopsied it, and there's no way they can know that in an emergency room in the middle of the night. So I just tried to comfort Brad. His brother from Chicago called, and, we were all just kind of okay, now's the time we walk out what we talk, we practice what we preach, and blah, blah, blah. But inside I was like, I am not claiming this, because they don't know. His dad and Brad's dad and older brother have had diverticulitis, which is, I think your intestines have holes in them, so they seep out, and it makes you very sick. So we went through the night. The next morning, the doctor had came in and said it could be, a new doctor came in and said it could be diverticulitis. It could be an infection. We don't know that it's cancer because we have not biopsied it. And I was like, see, I knew, And so they went ahead, and he does have kidney stones. A 9mm kidney stone is blocking the very into his you know, I'm not sure how it works, but it's so big, there's no possible way he's going to pass it. They tried to go in with a catheter and remove it that way, but it's bigger than the catheter, so they couldn't get it that way. And because of the cancer talks, they didn't want to do any like the sonic or sonar or whatever they do to make it smaller, because they didn't know if it was cancer or not cancer, if it would make it spread or, you know, whatever. So they just wanted to avoid that. So he has been dealing with major pain from kidney stones. So, you know, they've tried to make him comfortable. They've tried to, you know, they're trying to figure out how to get rid of the kidney stones. But anyway, they did do the biopsy and a colonoscopy, and it took, I think like 7 days to get the results. So we decided that we need to be up there because he was in the hospital for like 5 days, I think. And we, you know, we're trying to wrap everything up here. The basketball season was ending, and it was like, okay, as soon as basketball season ends, we're free. You know, like we can not have to worry so much about our busy schedule because it kind of slows down. So like, as soon as basketball season ends, we're going up there. We're going to be with you guys. And it just so happened that we were able to be there the day he got his results from the biopsy. And it is stage 4 colon cancer. It has spread to his chest cavity. And the whole time we were waiting for the biopsy results, I'm like praying, okay, Lord, if it is cancer, just don't let it be stage 4, because everything I've read online, stage 4 is really scary, you know, really scary. I think it's a 15% chance of survival, and you know, just let it not be that. Let it be that we caught it quickly, because everything I've read, colon cancer is very receptive to chemo, really good high survival rate if you catch it early. So that was what was in my head. And I was telling somebody else, I was telling my sister-in-law, Allison, so at the beginning of the year, I prayed that I would grow closer to the Lord and that my faith would grow. And I'm not saying that he does these things because of this, so don't hear that. But each step of the way, it was like, okay, it could be diverticulitis. No problem. We've been through that. You get a colostomy bag, which that kind of sucks, but it's not a death sentence, you know? If it is cancer, let it be stage 1, stage 2. We could do that. No problem. But stage 4 was my, like, worst case scenario. Stage 4, stage 5. And it was like, okay, Lord, now I have absolutely zero choice but to trust in you, because you are going to have to be his healer. Like, there's no way around it. Like, there's nothing we can do. Not that there was anything we could do in the first place. I mean, he could be hit by a truck tomorrow. I mean, I know that. I know we are not promised tomorrow. We are not promised tomorrow. And we're supposed to live our lives like that we are not promised tomorrow. But it's really scary, and it's even hard for me to say the word cancer with its context being my family. You know, Brad and I met when we were 14, or I was 14, and he was 16. So his dad has been in my life for 20 years. He went through my teenage years too, you know, and he's a really great papa to my kids. He's very wise, and we need him, you know. So it's so hard to think. It's scary. It's very scary. But I'm human. These are human tears. I don't think I've cried a lot yet. But we've already had miracles along the way, you know. They don't have insurance, so that's really crappy. But the hospital covered all their stay while he was there for like in the ER, like for the kidney stones and all that stuff. And so that got all covered. They walked out of there debt free, which is amazing. And then while we were there, the cancer center called. Mind you, when he got his diagnosis, his oncologist, his oncologist is a Christian. His nurse advocate is a pastor's wife of a local church, and his like financial liaison person is also a Christian. And then when you go into the cancer center, there is like Air One playing, which is Christian music. So just a really, really positive, good environment, you know. And when he gave Dean the diagnosis, he pulled him aside because you can't really talk religion. And he said, you know, God has given me the wisdom to prolong people's lives, and I use that. He said, but I am a believer, and God can do anything, and he can heal you. And it was just like, you know, so uplifting because he did say, you know, this is what I've been praying, that either God supernaturally heals him or uses medicine to heal him. And to have a Christian doctor who is also on that same wavelength, which is really encouraging. And then, so he needs to be on the Mediterranean diet. So my mother-in-law and I like researched, we Pinterested, and then we went shopping and we kind of cleared out the house of all the bad stuff and, you know, made some good stuff and just filled the house with all kinds of things he can eat, which he doesn't have much of an appetite. Part of that, I think, is just the pain from the kidney stones. But he ate like 3 small meals while I was there, you know, so we made sure it was good stuff like berries and salads and, you know, chicken and fish and just all that. So, anyway, we had been out shopping, grocery shopping, and we came home, and Dean, he had been, you know, kind of down, like, I mean, whatever, who can blame him? He's in a ton of pain, and he just found out he has cancer, you know, like, yeah, I think he'd be down. But he was in really, really high spirits, and we asked, how are you doing? And he said, I'm doing great. And we were like, okay, what's going on, you know? And the financial lady had called and said I can't remember how long she's been working there, but in all the years she'd been working there, which was substantial, she had never seen all the chemo get 100% covered. So his chemotherapy is going to be completely covered. They're not going to go into major debt for this. He is going to have to pay for like his nausea medications and maybe a few small things along the way, but not the bulk of like the chemo. And so that was just like such a cool thing. And him and I were in the kitchen later on, and I was just like, he walked out of the bedroom like highly favored from the Lord, you know. I was just like, look at you, I could see the favor of the Lord upon you, you know, just like kind of making light and like jest of the situation, but it's so true, it's so serious, you know. That is the Lord's favor, that he has looked down and smiled at you, because this never happens. They said it never happens, and or it hasn't happened there, I don't know. And he was like, he just started tearing up, and so did I. And he was like, Mandy, I just feel like this is a sign, you know, that God is in this. And it's like, I stand on that, you know. I stand that you are favored, and this is his sign to us that he is walking with us in this. And he was like, you know what I've always said is, once God opens the doors, he swings open the doors and lets heaven pour out, you know. And this, he said, was like, I mean, he hadn't even known his prognosis for maybe 3 days, and already God is swinging open the gates of heaven and showing his favor. So Like I said really briefly, I know I was so like just quick and like not really talking about it, but like I said, they hadn't told everybody they needed to tell personally, and it's not mine, even though it hugely affects our lives. It's not mine, and I wanted to be respectful, so I was kind of like nervous even saying what I did in a couple vlogs back about the cancer. So that's why I'm making this video, is to kind of like just really give you guys the lowdown of what's happening. And you know, like I said, we would greatly appreciate your guys' prayers. This is going to be a very long, hard journey, and although we are all believing for full remission and, you know, 40 more years with my father-in-law around, we're going to need your prayers, because chemo is rough, you know. Just everything that's going to go along with this journey is going to be difficult and trying. I mean, God doesn't promise us that our journey is going to be easy or that we're not going to encounter troubles. In fact, the Bible is chock full of us telling us you will encounter trials and troubles. It's going to happen. So we know that along this journey, we're going to encounter some things that are not fun, that we're going to need tons of strength and prayer for. And so that's what I'm asking from you guys, is just to pray for our family, pray for healing, pray for strength, pray for wisdom, pray for peace. I will say, walking through all this, even when we got the diagnosis, like I said, I did freak out a little bit, because like, well, that's the one I said I didn't want, you know. I have had a peace this whole time. God has really just given me peace. I mean, I do have my moments of just extreme emotions, because it's just it's scary. The unknown is so scary. But I do have a peace, and I just pray that over all Brad's siblings. He has 2 brothers, and both are married, so both my sister-in-laws and all of us, I mean, we're a pretty close family, so it's hard. It's really hard. And leaving felt wrong. So I'm sure I'll be spending a lot of time up there this year, just to help. I mean, even if I could just cook and clean for my mother-in-law, that's what I want to do, because it just felt wrong leaving her alone in this, you know. And she's not alone. My brother and sister-in-law are there, but it's just like I just feel like it needs to be all hands on deck, you know. It just needs to be all of us together in this. So, I mean, we live down here, we work down here, I know that, but as much as possible, I would like to be up there helping if I can. But yeah, it's gonna be a crazy journey, you guys, and I'm sure you're gonna get to go along with us on a lot of it. I'm sure this is gonna consume a lot of our energy and time and emotions, and yeah. The kids are okay. The older 2, Toby and Lexi, we told them right away, just because we knew we were going to be going up there and they were going to firsthand experience what's going on, so we didn't want to lie to them. And they're doing okay. I mean, Lexi always kind of hides her emotions. She takes care of it on her own. And Toby, he, you know, I don't even know if I know how to process all this, so I don't blame them for not knowing how to process this, you know. And I'm trying to be very hopeful, because hope is what is going to help us survive and him survive. It's all in our attitude and our mind, you know. Like, if you just give up mentally, your body's going to give up too, so we have to be hopeful. The little kids don't know anything, although there was a couple days where he was in a lot of pain. I was like, Papa's really sick, huh? And it's like, yeah, Papa is really sick, and she's like, Mommy, you should take him to the doctor. I was like, okay, baby, we will, you know, which we did. We spent whole days in town at the doctors and stuff. But yeah, it's gonna, I mean, obviously when chemo starts, things are gonna physically look different about him. So it's gonna be crazy. I don't know. But there's the long and short of it. That's what's going on in our little neck of the woods these days. And I just appreciate you guys being there for us in this time. I really appreciate that I have this outlet to talk and know that there's people out there who will be praying. The more, the merrier. Where 2 or 3 are gathered in His name, it shall be done, you know. So let's agree together in prayer, you guys. And I love you so much, and thank you for watching this long, old rambling by me. I doubt I'll put any other footage in just because this is so long. So tomorrow, back to regular vlogs, and I will try not to get behind anymore. The internet is just kind of difficult, and I was so busy, honestly, while we were there, that it was just hard to take the time to edit. By the time I went to bed, it was like, I'm ready to go to sleep. So I hope you enjoyed the vlogs as I did get them up, and I really, really love you guys, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.